My name's Skylar White. I'm the author of And Falling Fly, and you're watching Austin Artists.
My mom and grandmother both sewed, and for my 5th birthday I got a set of fashion plates and was hooked with the fashion stuff. And at 8 I got a sewing machine, and it just a series of life events. I got to tour a Jordache factory at the age of 8. My mom and grandmother worked for a designer when I was in high school, and I was hooked. I mean, it's just everything seemed to fall in place. And that just was what I was meant to be. I mean, we were poor and out of necessity, partially making our clothing growing up. It just became, natural for me that was a progression. And then when they worked with the designer in high school, I was just like fascinated. Every time they went to turn in work, I had to go with them to see what she was creating. And I started sketching then, and it's in my blood. That's what I have to do. Well, I got my degree in fashion merchandising, which is basically retail management. And one of the places I worked was Tuesday mornings, and I was cleaning up one of the aisles one day and noticed we had like 4 boxes of bottle caps that were gross, which is 144. I'm like, I can do something with these. And at the time, bottle cap jewelry was really in. And I said, I want to make something, but I don't want to make jewelry because everybody else is making jewelry. And I'm like, a jacket. I don't know why that just popped into my head. I'm like, I can make a jacket. And over 2 years working full time on my weekends and days off, I figured out how to put it together and how to keep it together. The first one I made with jump rings, and as soon as I held it up, it just went crump. But it's part of the learning process, and when you're making something that you've never seen before, you've just got to trial and error until you get it right.
Now it's wearable.
Yes, and now it's wearable. The contest is Gen Arts, and it's with Clean and Clear. It's makeup removers, and it's geared towards teenagers, and they are doing a prom giveaway where they produce a prom for one of their users. And so they teamed up with Gen Art to make the winner a dress. Well, when I thought of Clean and Clear, I thought of something natural and elegant and not overdone. So, and Austin being a sustainable, environmentally friendly area, I decided to do something that was all natural, dyed naturally, and that looked glitzy but wasn't actually glitzy, and very comfortable. So it's a cotton bamboo blend fabric. That's based off of a pattern online that you can get for free on bertastyle.com. When they first set up the website, they had a competition where they asked their subscribers to either submit a garment that they've made from their own pattern or to submit sketches, and they would make a pattern from the garment. So this was worldwide. Anyone all over the world could enter. And I'm a cold person, and I wanted to dress up a sweatshirt, and I thought they asked for something that was easy to alter, very wearable, and so I submitted a sweatshirt dress with just a high turtleneck and the rib knit on the end of the sleeves, and then it had a rib knit at the bottom, which they selected mine and made it into a pattern. And the pattern's a little different than the sketches, but I gave up the right to interpret the sketches. They interpreted the sketches the way they wanted to, and so I updated it and kind of gave it my own little twist. The turquoise and gray dress, that was inspired by Nicole Miller that I saw in Austin Monthly 2006 2006, I think. Yeah, 2006. She's infamous for her scarf dresses, but I can't find the printed fabrics like she has. So what I did is I took and added my own little touches to it to make it something unique, but still very elegant and wearable. I am so bad about completing things. There are so many things that I've done that I haven't completed, but when I made the turquoise dress, I mean, I remember going out and wearing it. I wore it to the Blanton, and the reaction I got was just inspiring. And just to have people respond to my work and just be in awe of it and be supportive of it, that's just the greatest feeling. I did a research paper on Oscar de la Renta in college, and I really fell in love with his style. It's kind of feminine but flirty and funky. I also love Vivienne Westwood, Betsy Johnson. I like that feminine flirty thing, but I also like classics like Coco Chanel and Christian Dior. I mean, I like to mix the feminine with the flirty, but make a woman feel like a woman, but still not too girly. I put an ad on Craigslist to start teaching sewing again because I used to teach sewing several years ago. I'd go to people's houses and teach them from their home, but I didn't have a car at the time, so I'm like, I'm gonna put an ad on Craigslist and see if I can get anyone to come over here since I have a studio now and teach sewing classes from here. Well, the first email I got was, do you teach pattern making? And I'm like, I never thought about teaching pattern making because I taught myself most of my pattern making skills. I took one class in college and we made 2 garments. So there wasn't really a lot of experience pattern making. So I've been wanting to read a book from the 40s by Harriet Pepin called Modern Pattern Design. And you can get it free online from vintagesewing.com. So I decided I'll just teach from that, and so I'll get to read it and get really versed in it. So I started with my first student in November, and she just enjoyed it, and I've picked up 2 other students in pattern making since. Oh gosh, next. I'm currently vamping and revamping a pattern that I made for a bustier, trying to get that worked up so that it's very wearable. It's got aluminum incorporated into it, so I do some lattice work with strips of aluminum that I've cut, and then I punched round holes in part of the aluminum and stitch over it, and I'm trying to figure out how to stitch it all down so there's no sharp edges. I've also got with Austin Fashion Week, I've already been asked to do a show with the Austin Museum of Art for recycled clothing. So there is going to be the opening, I can't remember the artist's name, in May, and some of the designers are each going to have one piece, and then on August the 15th will be the show, and each designer will have 4 recycled pieces. We've had to submit to Keep Austin Beautiful a list of items that we want them to hunt down for us so that we can create our pieces. And I got lucky the other day. I happened to hear them throwing stuff away in the dumpster and looked out the window, and the orange stuff that they put on the side of the road to keep the grass in place, they were throwing a whole bunch of that in the dumpster. So I ran down there and dragged that out. So that's going to be in one of my pieces. My husband's like, you need to get that in the house. And hidden. I'm like, I've got to wash it, so that means I've got to put it in the shower and run the water, and I haven't had time to unroll it in the shower and wash it, so it's sitting out there. He's like, you're making us look white trash. Treasure City Thrift is coming up in June. That'll be, I think, on June 20th, and they've just sent out their request for local designers, and it's an all refashioned fashion show. So that's something I will be doing over the summer. I am submitting both, I don't know if I want to mention that, both the Project Runway and to the fashion show will be in Austin on May 8th. casting for Bravo's version of Project Runway. So I'm submitting to both of those.